Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining us here for this press conference. Everyone know, probably throughout the world now, that on September the 6th of this year, 2018, Dallas police officer Amber Guyger shot and killed 26-year-old Bolton John upon entering his apartment. The Dallas Police Department at that time took on the case initially. We here at the Dallas County District Attorney Office, through our Public Integrity Unit, also began conducting an independent investigation of this case immediately. About 36 hours after the Dallas Police Department started their investigation, the case was turned over to the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers then began their investigation, and they were the lead investigating department on this case. We here at the Dallas County District Attorney's Office, through the Public Integrity Unit, and at the time of this case, Jason Hermes was heading up the Public Integrity Unit. He is still working on this case and will continue to work on the case. Our unit did a tremendous job of investigating the case, talking to over 300 witnesses, conducting different lab testing as it related to the case. And of course, you know, the Rangers, because they filed and was responsible for the case, they filed manslaughter back on about September the 9th, 2018. However, remember, we here at the Dallas County District Attorney Office was doing our independent investigation, although we also sat down with the Rangers to explain to them what we thought back then, what the law was. But them being the leading agency took it upon themselves to file manslaughter. Today, the Dallas County Grand Jury has returned an indictment against Amber Guyger, against Bolton John, for the offense of murder. I want to thank the grand jury for the diligence that they have given to this case, the concentration, the work. Our office, through Jason Hermes, representing the Public Integrity Unit, did a thorough job of presenting this case to the grand jury, not only presenting the evidence, but also explaining the law. And once the grand jury heard this case, they did return an indictment for murder. So I want to thank them for their hard work, thank them for their diligence. I also want to thank Jason Hermes, the lead in this case, for all of the work that he's done. This office, through Jason and the Public Integrity Unit, has spent hundreds and hundreds of hours investigating this case. We were determined to present to this grand jury all of the facts and to clarify for them the law so that they could make the decision they thought was right and just on behalf of Bolton John. So I want to thank my unit, thank Jason Hermes, thank my whole staff, thank the grand jury.
Use 911 to save your life.
And I also want to say to the family, thank you for being here, and keep in mind, and I want to advise you and the people throughout this country to continue to pray for this family, because it's still a journey ahead of us. And although I will not be the DA at the January 1, 2019, I really trust that the DA-elect will continue to represent the people of Dallas County, and specifically to represent this family as he in this office seek justice, not only on behalf of Bolton John, but on behalf of all the victims of Dallas County. Thank you all so much. Any questions?
DA, in your mind, what helped move this from manslaughter to a murder indictment?
We presented the evidence and we explained the law.
You think it was just that simple?
We presented the evidence in its entirety, a full case, and if you can remember, I have said that all along, that we were going to investigate this case thoroughly, that we were going to present all the evidence to the grand jury, and that we would fully explain the law, and I had confidence that once we did that, they knew exactly what to do.
Just to follow up, we know that you're not going to be the DA next time. Who's going to try the case? Are you confident that the next administration can get a murder conviction?
I have confidence in our newly elected DA that he, too, has the concern of the citizens of Dallas County, and I just trust that he will continue to pursue justice, not only on behalf of both and John, but all the victims of Dallas County.
Was there an overwhelming piece of evidence that maybe swayed them? I know you said you...
Well, keep in mind, we cannot talk about any evidence that was presented to the grand jury. What I said to you all earlier is that when we prepared this case to the grand jury, we talked to over 300 witnesses, and we did all kind of lab testing in preparation to present a case to the grand jury. So we can't talk about specifically who testified from the grand jury. But what I'm saying to you, we did a full, complete presentation to the grand jury, and the grand jury returned the verdict of murder, indictment for murder. Yes. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Judge. Just for clarification for the people want to know from this office, what did you see without explaining to the grand jury why the argument was one was for manslaughter and your presentation to this grand jury that this was murder? Because people are still asking, why is this murder?
Well, remember going all the way back to September the 9th, when we sat with the Texas Rangers, we had a very spirited conversation with them in terms of our perspective of this case. The Texas Rangers were the lead on this case. They were the charging agency, and they chose to file this case as manslaughter. Keep in mind, we did our own investigation of this case. We knew the evidence. In fact, the people outside of this office really didn't know the evidence. They didn't talk to any witnesses. We did. In fact, we talked to more than 300 witnesses. We did all kind of lab work. So we knew what kind of case we had. And that's why I was so confident. And I was talking within the bounds of the law to just say to the people of Dallas County, trust us that we will present a full case to this grand jury, and we will explain the law to them. And once they see the evidence and they hear the law, they will do the right thing. And this grand jury did that. Rebecca. I'm sorry, yes.
Can you tell us where?
Well, she's turned herself in, and well, we don't know anything, but you know, we couldn't have this press conference until she turned herself in. I'm sorry. The bond is the same.
Has she been released on that bond?
No, well, no, the bond was transferred. She already was on one bond, so that bond now has been transferred to the new case.
So
Judge Johnson, you
Hold on one second.
Her status is she's in custody, or she's posted that bond for her?
It's my understanding she's posted a bond. Is that correct? Yes, she has. Yes, the bond was carried over, so that means it's posted in its time. I'm sorry.
You're a former district judge. The indictment here for murder, you have to meet the minimum threshold, probable cause. If a jury doesn't find probable cause, or a jury doesn't find murder, would you as a judge be surprised if they came back with a lesser included of manslaughter on the charge?
Yeah, I have no comment in terms of what a jury could do. Keep in mind, when you are the trier of fact, whether you are the judge or the jury, you're listening to the evidence, and you're making your decision based on all the evidence that's presented to you. So a jury in this case can look at this evidence, and I am hopeful that our new DA, through the DAs who are here now, will present a case that can convince a jury to return the proper verdict in the case. And I don't know what will be raised through a jury trial. I have no idea at this time. in terms of the evidence that will be raised one way or another. Yes. Hold on one second. Now, you all know me. I answer all the questions right on. Never shut you down. I won't shut you down today. Yes.
There was a lot of public pressure, I suppose, or at least public outrage about the fact that this was originally brought as a manslaughter case, and now the grand jury has returned a murder indictment. People at home, I know, are wondering, why didn't the Texas Rangers see this as a murder case from the outset?
Now, obviously, I can't think for the Texas Rangers. You all know that, right? The only thing I have said to you all constantly, and I don't know if anybody was ever listening, but I have constantly said to the people of Dallas County, although the Texas Rangers did what they thought was the right thing to do, now the district attorney office has the offense, has the case. We will thoroughly investigate the case, and we will give the grand jury everything they need. That is the reason why we presented that case in November, and we didn't present the case in September because we weren't ready. I wanted to make certain that the grand jury had everything they needed to do the right thing, and I already knew that we would take this case to the grand jury at the right time, and I was not bowing down to any political pressure to try to do it earlier, because that was not justice. Justice was to do it when we did it, and we did it in November, and here we are today.
And how confident are you today that this will lead to a conviction?
I'm confident that we will present a case to whoever the 12 people would be in this case. I'm confident that we will present a case to that jury, now petty jury, to be able to make, from their perspective, the right decision in the case. I'm confident of that.
Can you please explain for the public too the difference between a manslaughter charge and a murder charge? What's the difference?
The difference between those offenses, a murder case is intentionally and knowingly. It's the mens rea. Intentionally and knowingly committing that act, intending to do it. Manslaughter is recklessly doing something. That's why we have said all along, and as we have explained it over and over again, when you look at the facts of the case, we thought that it was murder all along. But we did not file this case. The Texas Rangers filed manslaughter. But we knew what we had to do to get it where it needed to be. That's why we spent all the time that we spent, all the time we thought was important to get this case ready for the grand jury. And we did that. And I know a lot of people say, well, it took too long. No, it didn't take too long. Justice is never too long. If you're seeking justice on behalf of any citizen in this county, you want to make certain that you have done everything you can do to make certain that the grand jury or any jury will have all the evidence and the law to make the proper decision.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Now, what can you tell us? What's the timeline now? What's happening?
I'm sorry.
The timeline of what's going to happen next, when the case is going to start. Do you have an idea?
I would imagine that it will be at least a year or more. Remember, we tried the Roy Oliver case. It took us 16 months after that shooting to take the Roy Oliver case before a jury. 16 months. And that was with the DA's office pushing Mike Snipes, who led that case. We didn't let up. We pushed and pushed. We were standing and against any and all kinds of continuances, and those continuances still happen. But we had to put our foot down and say, let's go to trial. So I don't know when the case will literally get tried, but if you have a gauge from the Roy Oliver case, it took us 16 months. So it's going to be at least a year or so before the case goes before a jury.
How does the John family feel about this decision?
I would imagine that they are very happy that the grand jury has returned an indictment for murder.
Can they say something?
Can we ask them? Can we let them tell us what they think?
We'll have our own person now.
Yes.
Judge Johnson.
Yes.
You've heard the old adage that you can indict a ham sandwich. The average time is 3 minutes to get an indictment from a grand jury in Dallas County. based on all the cases that go before your 2 grand juries. Are you saying all 300 pieces of evidence went before this grand?
No. We're not saying that. And again, I can't tell you what was presented before the grand jury. You know that it's against the law. But I'm only saying to you, we did a thorough job of investigating the case, so then we would know all the pieces of evidence we need to take before the grand jury.
So is it correct to say that the office is contending that Amber Guyger went to his apartment intentionally to kill him?
We're not contending what may have happened, what was in her mind before. Only thing we're saying that at the moment of this shooting, it was an intentional and knowing offense. That's what we're saying.
Can you kind of speak to this indictment and the larger struggle to bring justice for young black men who have been killed by police violence? Can you speak to whether or not you see this as a forward step in that effort?
Well, personally, I think that when you look at my administration, we have always taken the position is that we want to make certain that justice is for every single person. It doesn't matter who you are. And you all know me. This is not an indictment against police officers overall, because we support the police. We love the police. We got great men and women out there who are putting their lives on the line day in and day out. So it's not about those good cops. We're not about that. We're talking about bad cops that go out there and do things that's against the law. So we have taken the position from day one that we want to make certain that justice is done for everybody, and it's equal justice. It's not one-sided or it's not blinded, but it's equal. And that's what we are still saying even with the Amber Guyger case. We said it with the Roy Oliver case. We said it with the Derek Wiley case. We said it with the Kenneth Johnson case. And we're saying it now with the Amber Guyger case. Equal justice for everybody in this county. And my hope is that people throughout this nation will take on the same attitude, is that we want equal justice, and it doesn't matter whether or not I'm black, white, purple, green, whether I'm a police officer or not, whether I'm a lawyer, I'm a priest. Equal justice is what we're talking about here. Ken, you have a question?
I was just hoping to talk to the family members.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you also. One more question?
I just wanted to see what that shirt says.
It says be like so.
All right.
Okay. No more questions? Okay. Thank you also very much. We appreciate you. Yes.
Within the filing, the formal filing, it suggests within the paperwork that there is a murder charge and a manslaughter charge. Formally, it's just been upgraded to murder.
No, it wasn't an upgrade.
Okay.
We have a separate indictment for murder, and the grand jury returned an indictment for murder. And there was another charge for manslaughter that was filed by the Texas Rangers, and there was a no action on that. So they did not. So they did not true bill the manslaughter, only the murder. Yes, I'm sorry.
That manslaughter matter just appeared for the first time today in the file, but it is not the case that's going forward.
No, they no action the manslaughter. They brought a true bill. They returned a true bill on murder only. Okay? Okay, thank you also very much. Have a blessed day. God bless you, okay? Thank you.
Is Dawn family going to talk?
I think so. Well, you guys gonna, yes, they're gonna, you all may want to stay out here. They'll be back. Okay.
Actually, we can post that.